Alright, good day everyone. Welcome back to Iturmoto and thank you for tuning in. Once again, my name is Julio Rivero and on this episode, we're gonna talk about another mid-size adventure bike in the market today, and that's the Tenere T700. Stay tuned. Now, before we get there, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to invite you to subscribe and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified of my upcoming videos. Okay, so named after the south central region of the Sahara in Africa, Tenere actually means desert in the African language Tuareg, and this region is the desert segment of the famous Dakar rally race. The Tenere 700 or T7 or XTZ 700 is the successor of the famous XT660Z back in the 80s, which brought Yamaha a huge success, especially on Dakar rally races. Now, this bike has been released in the global market since 2019, but it actually only came to shore in the Philippines in the early 2021, and that's to offer Filipinos a true off-road bias adventure motorcycle in a market dominated by road bias adventure bikes. The Tenere 700 doesn't have the gadgets and gizmos that you will find in other brands, but instead this bike focuses on simplicity, reliability, and most of all, the ability to take you off the beaten path. This bike doesn't have the electronics like the traction control or cruise control that could actually fail in the middle of a trail. Now imagine you're crossing a river on a difficult segment of a trail and your bike suddenly shuts off, and that could really be a big problem, right? The Tenere 700 will not do that to you. In fact, you only have one button on the dash, just one gadget, and that's to turn off the ABS, and that's about it. So let's talk about the specs. Alright, let's talk about the engine. This bike is using 689cc 4-stroke parallel twin engine with a double overhead cam, and you get 6-speed in the gearbox with EFI system. On the tank, you have 19 liters of fuel capacity and you get about 21-22 kilometers per liter based from my experience with highway riding and a little bit of off-road. This engine is the same engine that's used in the award-winning MT-07, and it's using the cross-plane technology that Yamaha introduces back in 2009 with the YZF R1. Now, this technology is also the reason why you would hear a barbling sound similar to the V8s of the American muscle cars. Talking about how it sounds, I'm going to start this and let you hear the exhaust note of this bike. Alright, before I let you listen to the exhaust note, let's talk about the muffler first. So the headers is 2-to-1, so 2 coming from the engine and joins in the middle and all the way here to the muffler. This muffler actually looks like an aftermarket muffler. Definitely has a silencer into it. Now, before I start the engine, I want to point out something very important, which is also a downside of this motorcycle. And I'm talking about this part right here. This is the muffler bracket, which is actually welded into the subframe of the motorcycle. So imagine if you drop your bike to the right and you hit your muffler, and this part is hit or flexes, and that could cause damage to your subframe. Alright, so I'm going to start the engine now and let you listen to how it sounds. Okay, let's talk about suspension. This bike has inverted telescopic forks, 43 millimeters of thickness or diameter, and 210 millimeters of suspension travel, fully adjustable for compression and rebound. And on the rear, you get link type monoshock suspension with 200 millimeters of travel, fully adjustable for preload, compression, and rebound. Now, the suspension of the Tenere 700 is considered to be its Achilles heel. A lot of people say that the suspension is on the soft side, so there is a need to upgrade it. But I guess it really depends on the rider scale and how you ride the bike. If you're a basic or intermediate rider, then definitely you don't need to upgrade to. But if you're going to ride this really aggressive on tough terrains, then definitely you will need to upgrade at least the spring of this suspension. The good thing about it is that there are a lot of aftermarket options in the market, so it's going to be up to you to choose your pick and upgrade your suspension. Okay, so let's talk about brakes, wheels, and tires. This has a 282 dual discs in front and 245 single disc at the back. Both front and rear have Brembo calipers, so there's nothing that can be more reassuring than having a brakes that's done by one of the best. Both front and rear has selectable ABS. We just push of a button on the dash, then you can turn off the ABS. On the rims, you get 21-inch wide rims in front and 18-inch wide rims at the back. Both wheels are wrapped with Pirelli Scorpion STR tires, which is surprisingly good even on the highway. It actually has a good grip, especially on the turns. But I haven't tested this on the muddy or sandy section, which I believe these tires would struggle. So I think there are better off-road bias adventure tires in the market. So I'll probably have an entirely video talking about that. Alright, so let's talk about the lighting system, which is my favorite because of the rally phase. And this is very iconic, very unique to the Tenere 700. And on the headlight, you get 4 strong LEDs. The top 2 are the ones that's always open and that serves as the low beam, and at the bottom that's your bright bulbs, which also serve as your passing light. The signal lights are all LEDs, front and back, and also the tail light, so you're easily seen from behind. Okay, so let's talk about the design of this bike, and this is very rally inspired, paying homage to its roots. And one of the things I like about it is the seat. It's using a bench type seat that allows your body to move freely so you can shift weights when you're riding off-road. In terms of height, I'm going to show you, I'm going to ride it. So to give you a reference of how tall this bike is, I am 5'10", going 5'11". If you notice, I'm tiptoeing because this bike is really high. The seat height is about 880 millimeters with a ground clearance of 9.5 inches. And you can lower this bike by buying or replacing the lower linkage in the rear shock. Also getting a lowering seat. Both are available in Yamaha stores, and that's going to give you about an inch of lowering, so problem is solved. Yeah, so the weight, this is 452 pounds or 25 kilograms wet weight, which means tank full and all the oils are in the engine. So very, very light for an adventure, mid-size adventure motorcycle. The only downside to having a higher tank is that you would feel the top end weight of this bike. But to be honest, that's negligible because when you're having fun on the trails, you won't even notice it. Alright, so we're down to the final thoughts. This bike is actually mine. This has been my dream bike ever since. I've been actually researching on this bike ever since it's in the concept stage until it came out to the market. And I'm so happy that I finally got it. There are a number of reasons why I bought this bike, but the main ones are: 1, the design is very unique. Only Tenere 700 has that rally face, has that rally inspired design. Plus the simplicity of it and reliability. Having less electronics means it's reliable and less chances of failing. It's basically less is more, and that's what most off-roaders would want in their bikes. And yeah, so that's about it. What's up next for this bike? Maybe some upgrades on the ergonomics first. I probably move the handlebar a little bit forward so that I can have a better standing position. Also, having some crash protection. If you notice, I don't have the crash bars yet installed, so that's probably next. And maybe some set of stickers to make it really, really look good. Yeah, and that's about it. I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching. Please do subscribe on my channel so that I can continue doing these videos and improve my craft. And hit on the bell icon as well so you'll be notified on my upcoming videos. Always, always ride safe. Ciao.